boss, bitch. For sure. Listen to the Mind of Terry's Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And right now, I want to get into utilizing astrology with your child or with your children. You know what I'm saying? Because this is important. Like, people don't understand. Like, throughout this video, I'm gonna help you clearly understand that this is the reason why, if you have multiple kids, why they have different characteristics, why they may like different things, why they may agree to different terms and conditions, and why they may like similar things. Even when it comes to you as a parent, we get into so many things in our lives based upon society, our location, the people that we know, our family, our friends, to the point that the way that things is structured based upon where we live at, based upon the government and things of that nature, we would think that we're supposed to do certain things, right? So say you as a parent, you got a certain energy, right? So you may be able to do what's qualified in that area that y'all live in a lot better than your children. So then when your children is going along with your path and you're trying to get them onto your business, or you're trying to get them to do the same thing you want them to do, here's why when they don't actually succeed the way you see it or the way you have done it, or when you see them not working as hard towards that goal as you done it, you speak down on them and you down your kid's spirit and make your children feel like they're not capable of something, when in reality their energy and the mixture of their elements just don't resonate with yours. So they're not able to do the scenarios that your element mixture made up can do. They're not able to do that same thing. You see what I'm saying? Their elements and their mixture of their energy allows them to do other things. And they will put energy 100% into those things that resonate with their energy. But you might hinder your child's spirit because now your child is growing up blind into thinking that they have to conform their energy into your energy structure and into things that you want them to do in order for them to feel like they're impressing you, or in order for them to feel like they accomplished something in life because they actually carried the baton that you tried to pass to them. When in reality, you see what I'm saying? You could be hindering your child's spirit. So that's what this video is really about right here. You know what I'm saying? How to utilize astrology with your child. So like I was saying, by you being older than your child, you already on a higher conscious level than your child. So there's going to be things that your child don't understand when we get into this. So it's your responsibility to understand this. It's your responsibility because you brought that child into the world. So that child is your responsibility. So you, for the most part, even up for my older watchers out there who have children that may be my age. So you're still trying to be in their life, but y'all may have went through so many years of road blockages and things of that nature. This video right here can lighten all that load up. Now, for the most part, this is what you need to understand correlating astrology with your children. Understanding your children's chart and understanding your chart, because this is how y'all relationship is going to be synastry between each other. You know what I'm saying? This is how y'all going to complement each other, and this is where y'all going to run into frictions. So if you have a child and you trying to get your child into these things just based upon what you think you want your child to be into, if you don't know your child elements or energies and you don't even know your own, then you can be lost and leading your child to be lost. So it end up becoming a blind leading the blind. So this is what you need to understand. Now, for all right, let's break it down like this. Let's say you are air. You are a parent, right? And you are air element. So that means your sun is an Aquarius, Libra, or Gemini. So this means the sun represents your actions, what you're consciously aware of, how you consciously view things. So this is how you consciously act. This is how you consciously construct the world. This is how you consciously view the world. This is what other people are consciously aware from you. Air-like energies. Now, it could be the cardinal version, which is Libra. It could be the fixed version, which is Aquarius, or it could be the mutable version, which is Gemini. So that's how you differentiate between the three. But for the most part, y'all all are in the same energy, just doing it in your own kind of way. So that's how y'all clash and shit. You see what I'm saying? But now, let's say you have a child. Now, this is why it's important to know your child placements. Because here's the thing. You see the world based upon communicating and the intellect and conversation and things of that nature. So say you have a child that may be very quiet. So you're trying to get this child into doing a bunch of things that you did based upon you saying, okay, this child got my DNA. A child having, look, us sharing DNA is just means we share the same experience. We share the same fluids. We share the same memory, or we had shared experiences. And the larger the vibration is, the stronger it is that you come into this lifetime. That person could be a close friend, a family member, or a neighbor, or someone that you're going to experience in this lifetime. The smaller the experience you have with this person, the life that you born into, because life is all about birth. This person end up just being a stranger you come across, or a person you may not ever see in this lifetime, or people you unaware of, or people you just can't connect with. These be the people you didn't share a lot of experiences with in the past life, or in any kind of when your soul spirit was in another vessel before this one. You see what I'm saying? So when we talk about DNA, that's just similar experiences. So just look at it from a mass scale as far as the human race. Us as spirits travel through the same spaces to come here. So we develop enough the same type of information based upon our spirit astral travel. We all accumulated the same information, and we went through the same lights and shapes and forms. So when we got here as spirits, we all developed similar like bodies. So we understand the same kind of energies. So this is why we all got similar type bodies as spirits, because us as travels. Now when you look at animals, bugs, and things of that nature, their astral travel as their spirit group travel elsewhere. So they all did similar shit like that. So break that all the way down. You could be born into a family that was really people you was beefing with in a previous life. But if y'all shared so many experiences together, then then that's how it plays out when you get birthed. That same energy still linger. It just get played out through another shape and form, or a star, or light, or a gas, or a mineral, or bacteria, aka or a human. You see what I'm saying? Or a situation and circumstance that you go through in your life. So that's DNA. That just means you're going to share similar features. You know what I'm saying? Body, you might share similar illnesses. That's why when you go to the hospital and you have a certain illness, they ask, do you have any relatives that had the same illness? Because that helps them better track it. And you see what I'm saying? So that's all DNA is. So don't get lost into these terms that man-made, as far as the words like family, friends, and men and woman. And don't get lost into those words, because the meanings and reasonings that man put behind them is just a more lost and indoctrinated way of explaining that Pacific energy. And that energy moves in a lot of different shapes and forms. So we need to, don't be biased to certain meanings and reasonings and language and words, and sit back and just observe what the actual energy is doing, what it's just doing. And then we'll be able to see that energy in any language, in any word, in any religion, in any spirituality, in any indoctrination, in any doctrination, in any realm of reality. We'll be able to pinpoint like, oh, that's the same energy. That's the energy I need to get with or detach myself from this time. You see what I'm saying? So when we get into the energies of talking about astrology and dealing with your children, if you are a parent and say you air, right? Now you got a quiet child. Now your child energies is not formulated to do what you did. So don't harbor it on your child. And then if you lost, it's going to manifest into you making your child feel like they're not capable, or you punishing your child, saying, you ain't allowed to do this until I see you accomplish this. And then it goes into a little shit throughout the day, even when it comes to chores in the house. You see what I'm saying? So we need to rectify all that. And that's why it's important to utilize astrology with your children. Because if you would know, your child might be Earth. So your child is not a talker. So the way that you're trying to set out examples for your child to do may not be in the way that your child resonate with. So your child don't get it. So they end up having other shit on their mind. And then, they're going to love you as a parent, but there's going to be a lot of things attached to that. And then this is where we get the concept of rebellious children. Because when the children get raised up in a family of elements that they don't match with, and then if the family is lost and they're not into astrology and incorporating this to know how to understand this, then it's going to lead into scenarios that you have a child that end up wanting to be rebellious. You know what I'm saying? And a child that's being rebellious is not a bad child. It's just the spirit that's in that child found the way to escape. And that was the shapes and forms and things and the situations that they had that spirit had to manifest in order to escape that spiritual bondage that the family and the parents was putting the child in. So if you don't want your child to rebel, this is what you need to do. You need to support your child's energy. And this is where it gets into astrology also. Support your child's energy. For an example, I'm a fire sign, right? So that means, all right, I'm an Aries sun. My child is a Taurus sun. So I don't need to be up and down her back about needing to do things right the way I see it being right. You see what I'm saying? That's another thing us as parents we get lost into. My child, she just turned 9 years old. So as a parent being into astrology, I can kind of see this another reason parents may fall short, because we'll be looking at the child and be like, you didn't do it right. Even if it just comes down to washing the dishes or something like that. You didn't do it right, or you should have did it this way. No, don't do that, because see, you adding extra shit by your lostness. Here's the thing. If I'm fire and I automatically know she's not going to be washing the dishes fast, and she's not going to wash it and put it in and put the soap on the water, on the sponge, and she's not going to do it specifically how I do it, how I construct it, because my sun is in fire. So how I consciously see it is in my way. So how I act on that is in my way. So I don't need to be talking down on her if she don't do it in that way. I need to support her way. So boom, by me understanding astrology, by me knowing that she a Taurus, boom, I can sit back. I know she's going to take her time. So I know I don't need, off the back, if I know she's kind of slow. Look, Taurus, when we say Taurus is slow, we're not talking about education and intellect. We're talking about as far as moving. So you could be a Taurus and you could be a drug dealer Taurus, right? And you could have the hustler up two houses up who got all the artillery in the world threaten you every day, but you don't move or budge. You like, nigga, I'm gonna sit here and make my money. That's what they mean by slow. So another person to come around you be like, this person is slow at moving. They ain't gonna move. They ain't gonna budge. But then it may manifest into people saying, oh, this person must be kind of slow in the head. They not getting what I'm trying to say. And see, that slowness don't have anything to do with education. You see what I'm saying? Or smartness. If you go ask that Taurus, they'd be like, no, I'm taking my time. You see what I'm saying? And then they common sense, the earth signs make sense out of things. So the sense that they make out of it will make your ass sit back and be like, damn, oh, that do make sense. This motherfucker ain't slow. It's a method to this person's madness, or why they ain't budging. So you see what I'm saying? Don't get lost into and that's ebonics and ghetto terms. Y'all done took the term slow from what man made and then created an ebonics around it. Now every time somebody say slow, it's a bad frequency behind it. And I felt that spirit. So it was important for me to say that for all my Tauruses that's watching out here. You see what I'm saying? That's what it means to be in peaceful spirits. Understanding when you catching spirits and deflecting it and throwing that water on that shit, that holy water on that shit to get the fuck away real quick. Get the fuck away. Get the fuck away. You see what I'm saying? Now we cleared that frequency vibration behind slow, the word slow up. That's what I mean by it. So by me understanding that and her being a Taurus, now I know that I don't even need to come at her in ways like it's a rush to wash the dishes. You know what I'm saying? Because that it starts from there, from the little bit. By me being hyper in Aries and me not being in astrology, I'll be sitting back thinking like, man, this little girl don't get up and wash some dishes like I told her. And it only, like, 2 seconds to me is 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So two seconds pass. I'm thinking 2 or 5 minutes pass. Oh, you know what I'm saying? So by me being in astrology and knowing that, I don't even need to come at her like that. Like, you better watch, because then that'll develop lostness. Because then she'll start developing stuff on her mind like, oh, I'm always being rushed. And then you know how kids is, that make them want to play with you. So she'll procrastinate on purpose. Then that'll lead into other shit. Then that'll lead into other shit. Then I start leading into, I ain't buying you this. And you know what I'm saying? It'll go so far to the point that we are lost. And it'll be the blind leading the blindness. Where by me knowing astrology, let's slow down and rewind. By me knowing she's a Taurus and then going deeper knowing she's a Capricorn moon, I'm like, all right, the best way for her to understand it is, let's schedule it. You see what I'm saying? So let's put it on a schedule. So let me not get in my own spirit and this thing every time I look at the dishes and I know that she know I'm going to tell her to wash the dishes. Since she don't do it, I need to come with some negative energy so she do it next time. No. We need to build our relationships with our child. So since I know she an earth element, I know what earth is as an astrologer. So it represents what makes sense. Ways of thinking and being practical. You know what I'm saying? Nurturing, caring, structure, practicality, task, scheduling. So since I know what Earth represents, I'm like, oh, okay. So I know how we can apply. Let me set her on a schedule. So let me make a schedule for her. On these Wednesdays at this time, it's this, that, and the third. Thursdays at this time, boom, boom, boom. We do this, that, and the third, boom, 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 boom. So boom, guess what? It's fun. She don't even look at it like, oh, he about to try to make me clean up or something like that. It turned into fun. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, this is what we doing the schedule today. Boom, this is what we doing today. So boom, that's me understanding her energy and by me being the parent, it's my responsibility to know that. So boom, you see how much energy we saved? You see how much situations that's hurdle blocks we eradicated ahead of time? So now we don't even have to go through what average parents and child's father-daughters go through. I didn't cut all that short. Cut all that short. You see what I'm saying? Cut all of it short. So for the most part, let's go a little deeper now. Let's get into the concept of, because even though, here's the thing, even though that y'all might share different energies, see, everybody got the mixture of all the same energies. It's just formulated in different ways. So here's the thing. Yeah, both you and your child, sun signs may be different, but this is why it's important to understand every sign, because my daughter has a Mars and Venus in Aries. So for the most part, here's how you can understand your child. Your child may have another placement that match your sign, or sextile it, or oppose it or something. So here's the thing. This is what you need to understand. Understand each star, understand each planet, because that'll help you understand where y'all agree at. Because, see, just because my sun sign is in Aries, and just because my daughter's Mars is in Aries, that doesn't necessarily mean we automatically connect on things. So just understanding each planet helps us understand where exactly we connect. So as far as me, I'm going to agree with my daughter 100% every time she jump into her intent, her willpower, her passions, her motivations, or desires, or her goals. That's her Mars. So since her Mars is in Aries, every time I see my daughter going for her goals or her intentions, or if I have a sense of my daughter in alternative motives, I kind of have a sense where they at, because that energy is in the same energy as my sun, as far as my actions and the way I act and how I see things and so I automatically can see her alternative motives. And when she go for her intentions, she automatically know how I'ma see it. How I'ma see her actions when she going towards us and things of that nature. See? Now look, now things gonna be slightly different talking about Venus, because my Venus is on a cusp. So it's 2 degrees Gemini. So I share a little Taurus energy and Gemini energy blended in together. So right here I'm a dust element when it comes to my Venus. So it's gonna be slightly different. See, when I jump into the way I love and how I appreciate things and the things I value and relate to, that might not match. That's not going to match her intent, her goals, her passions and motivations and desires. You see what I'm saying? So the things I may love and appreciate and value ain't the same things that match her intent, willpower, passions, and motivations and her goals. So even though my actions may agree with her goals, the things I love and I'm willing to compromise with don't. So for an example, my actions may match with her goals, right? But I may love and appreciate, or I may have to compromise, aka Venus. I may have to compromise with a bill. So that bill, I may have to take money to pay that bill, and that bill don't necessarily support her goals at the time. Look, when she get at motherfucking, her goal might be she want a motherfucking car. So when you see what I'm saying? So if I got a fucking, even though she only 9 years old right now, but I'm just speaking ahead of times, right? Her intent, her alternative motives is to get a car out of her motherfucking father, right? But the things I have to compromise with and what I appreciate, which will probably be a house and the bills that I have to compromise with. So the money that I have to take to go there may not necessarily support her goal at that time. You see what I'm saying? But my actions and the way I act, dude. And the way I act in my actions is correlated to Aries. Like, so she could kind of lead my actions and utilize that as an example to correlate her goals. So she could be like, well, I can look at my dad's actions and the way he act, and the way I act is what y'all see me doing now. So she may utilize that energy to correlate to help her goals, because that match more with her goals, because she may not get what I have to compromise with, because the Venus is in Gemini. You see what I'm saying? You see how deep it goes? So this is why it's important for us to get into this. You know what I'm saying? Because we can help. Because, you know what I'm saying, I'm the type of motherfucker right now, I'm like, shit, you a motherfucking starseed. When my daughter turns 16, I'm telling my daughter right motherfucking now. I already know. Look, we doing some amazing things as starseeds. Everybody, you can learn anything on the goddamn internet right now. So look, this is what you can do. You can get a job right now at 9 years old, right? And I can give you an allowance, and you can buy the muffler this year. you can buy the tires next year, buy the rims, buy the brake pads next year. By the time you turn 16, you have a whole car. You can build it. Get on fucking YouTube. They teach kids how to do every fucking thing. By the time you turn 16, you done had every fucking part to the car. Get your ass on YouTube and build your ass your car. You got one. I'll help you. That's what I'm gonna tell my daughter. Shit. Get her ready right now. You get the light, get you a little, since you can't get, you 9 years old right now, do shit around the house, you got your little allowance, you make sure you save your money. You 9 years old right now. You might not know what I'm talking about right now, but we're gonna do this with your allowance. We're gonna get the tires this year, go get the muffler next year, get the doors. By the time you turn 16 to 18, you got a car. You got a whole free car. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is put it together now. And guess what? We done made so many goddamn motherfucking shifts. It's 2000. By that motherfucking time, build your motherfucking car. Go outside and build your goddamn car. Get the fuck out of my face. We had to work. Hey, that's what's up though. But for real though, this is real shit. So like I was saying, like it's always important because you want to support your child's energy. So for an example, like I said, your child not always going to participate what you want your child to do. So don't be down your child's throat, because this is part of the reason why you're going to cause situations to make your child rebellious or you to have a fucked up relationship. You know, we got those relationships all day. Mother versus daughter. You see what I'm saying? Father versus son. You know what I'm saying? You got some people childs was brought into this world by fathers that was so motherfucking lost that the father manifested situations that they lost. They end up getting killed or disappear out the kid life, and the kid grow up lost father. It goes that deep how lost motherfuckers are following lost stars down this motherfucker. So you know, it's important to support your child's energy. So if your child is earth, you know what I'm saying, make sure that the things that you get your child into when it comes to school or when it comes to habits or when it comes to what's those recreational centers, you know, like the Boys and Girls Clubs and things of that nature. Make sure that the specific things you get your child into is dealing with structure, practicality, schedule, and things of that nature. And that's how your earth child can get with things. Think about if your child is water, you know, get your child into things that cause reactions. So that's like probably get your child into band, probably get your child into music, probably get your child into history, because memory is attached a lot to water. And anytime you got a child that's a water sign, they like connectiveness. They like things that they can remember. They may bring up a lot of memories. They may have a good ass memory. They like things that's dealing with connections and things that cause reaction. So what is things that cause reactions? Vibrations, which is like music, sounds, or things that can be felt. Don't get your child into too much logical things. Get your child into dance class or some shit like that. You know, if you got a fire child, you know, support your child energy. Get your child into things that's going to switch up, not something that's mundane like it for your earth child, or not something that's just causing reactions like your water child that they can soak into, something that they can soak into, and something that they can draw things out that they can remember. Get with the fire child, get your child into things that switch up a lot. It ain't even necessarily got to be sports. Even if it's dealing with the intellect, get your child into a bunch of spelling bees and things of that nature, like with a little sense of competition, things that they could be separate but still feel, because water and fire feel, but they feel in two different ways. Water feel and soak in, fire feels and separate, which means express. You know what I'm saying? So get your child into active things, or if they're not active, like say they got a lot of earth in their chart that calms a lot of the fire down, or water in the chart that calms the fire down, which water really don't fight. It boils things up, and one is going to be the other. That's a different story. We'll get into that. But for the most part, say you got just a bunch of other elements that calm the fire down to still get them into something that is not mundane. Like they always got something to look forward to, even if it is mundane or schedulely like. Is always something new to look forward to, whether they get a different type of treat at the end of it, or, you know what I'm saying, just like, you know, always something new, because fire represents future, spirit, water represents soul, past, you see what I'm saying, earth represents now, present, air represents transparency, it goes through all of them, so air represents the transportation of the soul, so you got the spirit, which is fire. Then you got it becoming an individual, which is water. So it's a dense spirit, a spirit that's in vibration, that's in a dimension, that's water. Then you got so that'll be a soul, which is water, an individual spirit. Then the soul goes into a body, which is now in the present, the physical form. You see what I'm saying? And it gets to move through it, right? But the air was transporting all that. The air was our spaceship that we created to transport all that. So this is why air represents communication, travel. You know what I'm saying? Because everything travels. Even your air, breathing, and information, and light, it all travels. And the air in the direction travels it. So this is like our mental. This is why Mercury is tied to air, because it's dealing with our mental. So the things that you think is your thought forms. Thought concepts. So a thought form is a shape and form in the astral realm. So it's like it's your spaceship. Your mind is your literal spaceship. So you see them, it's your literal spaceship. So the things you think of and the feelings and emotions is like how your spaceship look. So it's your rooms, your living room and shit like that. The vibrations that you feel in your spaceship. But the things on your mind and how you think is the actual what kind of spaceship it is. So if you're a fast thinker, you got a fast spaceship. You're a slow thinker, you got a slow spaceship. But you know, that spaceship is what you conduct. And then your spirit go in that and get over to astral travel. So astral projection is nothing but you thinking in thought. And then astral traveling is moving within these thoughts. So you daydream, you sleep, you thought, you go into the mental realm, your space. So think about how junky y'all motherfucking spaceships be going. So think about when you're around now I am talking about the Ebonics version of slow now. Think about when you're around a slow dumbass motherfucker right now who thinks slow. Like education wise or street smart wise, right? They got a slow ass spaceship. So they hog you down because you got to constantly stop at the red lights because they way behind you. You got to wait till they catch up and shit. You can't even really go. You got to make sure they don't even got their spiritual driving license. So they don't even need to be on the astral road. Then they catching all these cases and then they got to go to fucking court up under a fucking judge, and then they ain't even got no esoteric lawyer. They ain't even watching Archangel Uriel videos or nothing. They don't even listen to you or nothing. So this your best friend, they ain't listening to you, so they ain't got no motherfucking esoteric lawyer. So they constantly in the courtroom getting judged. Then they agree to the terms and conditions of how much time they gonna get in that spiritual jail. Because every time you see them, you hear them harboring about, well, they shouldn't have did this and they did this and this was a fucked up situation. Oh, next time I ain't gonna do. So now they in spiritual jail and shit. You gotta bail them out all the fucking time and shit like that. Nah, you know what I'm saying? Look, fill your motherfucking gas up, your swag up, air, flights, and take your motherfucking astro travel, take your spaceship somewhere else and move and get around some motherfuckers who know how to put some motherfucking big ass 20-inch, 22 Rams on your fucking spaceship, and niggas who like to elevate and dress up their spaceship and like to, you know what I'm saying? And like to travel and travel the astral world and shit like that. You need to surround yourself around those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Flight boss bit, but you know, this is the first aspect of that. Correlating astrology with your children. You know what I'm saying? This is a very important video. You know what I'm saying? I hung myself on the cross on this video right here by even secluding how I interact with my child. But this is what I mean by how to interact with your child utilizing astrology. Of course, your child not going to understand astrology like you do, so it's your responsibility. Because that's your responsibility. But guess what? Guess what's going to motherfucking happen? And this is key. This is key. That smooth ass relationship you end up creating with your child because you correlating astrology with your child gonna respect you so much when they get older, because this is the only thing that's gonna be coming out their mouth. Man, if my parent wanted nothing else, they always supported what I truly wanted to do. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today if my parent didn't do that. Don't you want that kind of conversation with your child? Listen, man, my heart will fucking melt. My child 9 years old right now. You know what I'm saying? So when I get in my fucking 60s and 70s, man, for my daughter to come tell me that, man, listen, I don't give a fuck about nothing else. Flight bus, bitch. Goddamn air. Me and this motherfucker.